Hey everyone, it's Holly, and we're about to take a deep, deep dive into my family history. Alright, let's get started. We start with Joaquin Cotto. Now, Joaquin was born April 4th of 1889 in Salma, Spain, with family ties to like the 14th largest parish in Spain, which is the Cotto parish, which is kind of dope. But anyways, when he became 21 years old, he was in an arranged engagement with this woman, and he did not love her. He was in love with another woman who he grew up with, and he was like, "No, I'm not gonna marry this lady." So instead of getting married, his family said, "Okay, you will be kicked out of our family, or you'll marry this woman." And he said, "Nah, fam, I'm good. I'm gonna be kicked out." So he leaves Spain and he goes to Mexico, where he travels the border from Mexico into the United States. And there on October 3rd of 1910, he entered America through El Paso, Texas, and he got a job as a miner. And he was like, "This is my life now. I'm an American." Um, so, as this job as a miner, he sent money to his real true love, Esperanza Rodriguez. She got sent money, and he went back and got her and brought her to the United States. And so they got married in Metcalfe, Arizona. And then October 1st of 1910, they moved to Del Agua, Colorado. I probably did not pronounce that correctly, but I'm trying my best. So they moved to Colorado, and while Colorado, he is still working as a miner, but now for Colorado. Esperanza has three children. They have a set of twins that were born August 6th of 1917. Their names were Dolores and Joseph. And they had a younger sister that was born July 5th of 1919, and her name was Josephine Jean. Um, and so then in the 1930s, skipping a couple years, they all moved down to New York, and their address was 750 2nd Avenue, New York, New York. And that is found on their papers for moving, but sadly, um, Esperanza dies in December of 1930. Also, during this year, Joaquin gained his citizenship. He was released from Spain. He lost all of his property and anything of value that he owned in Spain. Um, so, after Esperanza passes, um, Joseph, who is Esperanza and Joaquin's son, he moved to Chicago somewhere between 1930 and 1941. We are unknown of the actual year he moved, but somewhere in between there. And after he moved, he gets married to Mary Amanda Geer, who is actually a Chicago native, and she grew up in the 22nd Ward of Chicago, which is the Cook Ward. Joseph and Mary had a total of 8 children, which is a lot of children. That's a lot of kids. So, the 8 kids that they had were Mary Hope, Alice Amanda. They had a set of twins, which were Joseph and Frankie, Jay, Raymond, Kevin, and Rita. Um, so my grandfather, we call him Papa. Um, his he is actually Joseph Roman Cotto. He was one of the set of twins. Um, and he was born December 15th, 1941 in Chicago. In 1958, he joined the Army, and he was an airborne ranger in 1961. Some of those years there might be a little bit mixed up because apparently he lied. He lied on his forms to join the Army, and he joined earlier than it was supposed to be. And so somewhere in there, like, all these dates kind of got mixed up because they don't seem quite right. So he apparently lied, and we don't know what's the actual truth. He ends up meeting Brenda Loran Alley, which is my mama. Her parents were Jessie May Rainwater and Lowell James Alley. They had 11 kids together, so my mama is one of 11, while my papa is one of 8. And so the Rainwaters, which is my mama's mother, her family is actually moved to the United States in mid to late 1600s from England. And before they lived in England, they lived in Ireland. And so Brenda and Joseph, they were married April 24th of 1965. So after that, they had several kids. They had Joseph in 1966, which is carrying on that family name, Frankie in 1968, Jeffrey, who was my dad, in 1969, and Nancy, their sister, in 1975. They all moved to the Columbia Center Projects in Hammond, Indiana, which is like right next to Gary. My dad said that they lived there until he was in third, fourth grade. So estimating that they lived in the projects until 1979. And during those times when they lived there, my papa worked at the mills in East Chicago. And then after they moved out of the projects, they moved to Maryville, Indiana. So my dad actually met my mom when they were in high school. They were not technically high school sweethearts. So my dad dated one of my mom's friends. And then like a year later, like my mom's friend was like, hey, like you should go out with Jeff. Like he's totally probably up your alley. And my dad like was one of those dudes that like had earrings and was like kind of chill, you know, but like redheads. They end up started dating when my mom was a senior in high school and my dad was a freshman in college. So my dad went to Purdue Northwest for his first degree, Valparaiso University for a second, and then back to Purdue for his doctor's degree. My mom, Kimberly Beth Kern was her maiden name. She was born to Raymond Kern and Ardeen Stolzman, and she had a younger sister, Kristen, who was born in 1976. My mom was born in 1970, 1 year after my dad. And then my grandparents split up, and then my grandpa ended up going on and later marrying Deborah O'Connor, and they only knew each other for a week before they got married, which is like crazy, but like they're still together and they're amazing together. It's great. And they had a son named Michael, which is my Uncle Mike. And they had him in 1983. All three of the sons of Joseph Roman Cotto, my papa, became firemen at some point. So Joe, the oldest, he was a fire chief of East Chicago from 1986 to 2017 until he retired. My Uncle Frank was a member of the Coast Guard until he left that, and he became a fireman at the Gary station and became chief of Gary from 1990 to 2015, where he retired, and now he lives in Florida. And my dad was also a fireman from 1988 until 1994. And then also in 1994, my parents got married. Yeah, so they got married on November 24th of 1984 when my dad left the fire station and he became a flyer on the UCAN helicopters. Later on, in 1997, my sister Robin Ray was born in March 3rd. And that's where I finished writing notes because I thought, hey, I'm me. I should know about my life. So here we go. Here we are. 2001. Yours truly was born on March 13th. It was a great day. I was born at 1:07 a.m. in case you're wondering. Before I was born, when my parents, before they had my sister, they moved to a place called Lakes of the Four Seasons. And so, my sister grew up there, but then my dad was like, hey, like, I want, like, a family home. Like, I never really had a home. That's why my dad strives so much to get to where he was at. He's had a lot of jobs. He has a lot of jobs still right now. Like, that dude's a workaholic, but he works because he wants to make his family strive. I lived in the same house my entire life in Valparaiso, Indiana, and I went to a small school, a small elementary school, small middle school, small high school, all in the same place. It was called Union Township. The high school's called Wheeler. From there, you know, I grew up when I was young. I started off with sports. I did softball and soccer ever since I was In the first grade, I did Girl Scouts from kindergarten literally all the way up until my senior year of high school. Um, I stopped softball 6th grade, stopped soccer in 8th grade. Um, I started theater. I first like fell in love with theater when I was little because my sister did a couple shows, and because I was so young, my mom didn't want to leave me behind, and so I actually was brought to all the rehearsals for things. So I was at every rehearsal for Cats. I was at every rehearsal for Wizard of Oz. I was there for it all, and then I ended up doing a show once I got to first grade, um, called the Broadway Review, which was just a bunch of review of Broadways. But I got to know my school, my local theater, because of that when I was little. I didn't get back into that until 5th grade when I did Mulan, and I stuck with that whole entire theater thing all the way through and still now, still. Um, and yeah, I stuck with that. Actually, I have had more injuries in theater than I had playing sports. The worst I ever did in sports was my very last game I ever played in soccer was I broke my nose by falling onto a girl who was in front of me who tripped over the ball. And the worst I ever did in theater was I tore my ACL, MCL, and meniscus in my knee um, during pre-tech of Footloose during a warm-up session. Yeah. So, I've had sweat, tears, and blood literally in theater. It was really a big part of me. Now I'm kind of like still kind of lost, but I think I want to pursue somewhere where I can give that level of energy to people as where I did in theater. Um, which is why I kind of really like the whole entire idea of working for Disney because I like making people happy, and theater makes people happier. Like it makes you have emotions that you might not be able to get from just going to see a normal movie because you're actually seeing people right in front of you have those real emotions and connections with each other, and I want to create that for other people. I want to create those feelings, and I want to create the memories for people like that and just make people feel happy. And so that's why I really kind of want to work for Disney because it's the happiest place on earth. What's a better place to make people happy than the happiest place on earth? And who knows what I can do? Who knows? Like I can create my own business. I'm thinking like if I move down there, like I can create a side gig of like doing like Disney themed things or like doing one of those Disney boxes where you buy stuff from the parks, you package up the boxes, send them out monthly. Like I can do something cool like that. I can like design different posters and things. I can do anything I want to do. I can be Bob Iger. I can be the CEO of Disney one day. I can do whatever my hopes and dreams can make me do. All I have to do is take the giant leap, just like Joaquin. I can be like Joaquin. I can make my. I can be Joaquin. I am Joaquin. I can take that jump. I can take that jump from Spain to America. I can take that jump from finding out who I am. I can do it. I can be whoever I want to be. And a part of me kind of wants to live in Canada. Thank you.